Alrighty, what's up everybody? Welcome in. This is BimmerNation.com. Welcome back here to another video, guys, and welcome to our Christmas picks, aka NFL Week 17 analytics predictions. We're here every single Thursday with this video. Also, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hopefully everybody is staying safe. Can't wait for the holidays. Well, the holidays are already here. Can't wait for the holidays to begin here. Like I said, I am pre-recording this. What is it, 2 o'clock in the morning that I'm recording this to make sure I get this out to you guys. But anyway, today we have the analytics predictions for week 17. So like I said, if you guys haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe button, join Discord, follow me on Twitch, follow me everywhere so you guys don't miss any future streams. Make sure you guys join the Discord, of course. That is the number one way so you guys can stay notified of whatever you guys, or whatever I stream or go live. Last week we're coming off a pretty good damn last week overall around the board. This is actually one of my better, more complete weeks last week of the season. 12-4 straight up, 11-5 spread picks, over under picks, 10-6. That is by far one of the better weeks I think I had in a long time, and I'm actually pretty thrilled about my performance in week. I gotta be thrilled about the performance that we had in week 16. Gotta be happy about that. Which brings our regular picks record down 156, 83 and 1. Spread picks, what were we, like 5 or 6 games under 500 going to last week. We cut that within 2. Let's go ahead and keep that rolling. And over under picks, we are now back to above 500 at 122 and 118. So there you guys have it for all my records going into the season. Like I said, I think I'm pretty comfortable about these week's picks and kind of like where I'm at with it. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get it going. Let's break every matchup down for week 17. Alright everybody, let's go ahead and kick things off with the Thanksgiving slate. Let's go ahead and start here in Landover, where we have the Cowboys taking on against the Washington Commanders here. It's kind of unfortunate for me to pick this, but at the same time, like, I just believe it's going to happen here. I think Dallas is going to beat their ass. I think they're going to take command of this game. I think Dallas is going to cruise control. They should be able to bounce back here and beat Washington. I'm going to take them 30-14 in this one. It's kind of unfortunate because I'm really rooting for Washington, but at the same time, the Washington Commanders, they're not even playing Marcus Mariota in this game. They're down to Tyler Johnson, I believe, whatever his name is, for the third string quarterback for Washington. I just don't think he's really going to have a good matchup. Sure, a good time. Sure, he does have a good matchup. He's playing against Dallas' defense, and Dallas' defense is terrible. It's one of the worst defenses in the NFL. But at the same time, you got to think about it, like, I don't think Washington's going to score a bunch of points. I just don't think they're a team that can score the rock that much, especially without Jane Daniels and Marcus Mariota. And in that short time that we've seen we've seen this Commanders team without Marcus Mariota or Jane Daniels, it just hasn't looked good. They haven't looked like a complete team. Well, not a complete team. They haven't looked like a team that people are going to respect, you know what I mean? So I think Dallas should be able to run it here, take care of business. Sure, Dallas is probably going to feel a little bit down because you know that they missed the playoffs, but they just got eliminated last week, so they might feel a little bit different. But I think they come out here on Christmas. I think they give it all they got. They got 2 more games for the season ends for them, so I think they come out. Dak Prescott plays really well. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, they keep going. Washington also has one of the worst secondaries in football right now. I do think Dallas should be able to throw the rock all over the place, wherever they want to, whenever they want to, and I do think Dallas should be able to walk away with the win here on Christmas. So I'm going to take them 30-14 with one. Pretty cruise control. Like I said, should be able to win this one. That 9.5 doesn't really scare me. I mean, that 9.5, I know it's a big spread. I know they're on the road in Washington, but it just doesn't. It don't scare me. I'm gonna take Dallas minus 9.5. I'm surprised that the spread wasn't like 11.5, 12.5, because I probably would have taken the Cowboys with them regardless here. But like I said, I just don't think it's not an ass beating of the week. It was a contender, but don't think this game's necessarily going to be that close. And then for under 50.5, I think that one could go either way. I can see Dallas's offense just putting up the scoreboard on Washington, and maybe that helps going the other. But I'm not going to trust Washington's offense enough for me to take the over in this one. So I think Dallas does their job, but I don't think Washington does their job to help out Dallas with the number. So I'm going to take this slight under at 50.5. Like I said, no one could go either way here. But what I do like is I like the Cowboys taking care of business here on Christmas Day in Landover. Now we have Detroit going into Minnesota here. The both uniform combinations look awesome in this game. Cannot wait to watch this game. But like I said in the pick show, I do want to say something about the pick show real quick. If the pick show was laggy by the time I was moving everybody's picks, I do apologize in advance. My computer was a little bit jacked up at the time, so like I said, I forgot to say that. But if you guys have experienced that, make sure you guys let me know where I can fix it. That's on me. But anyway, here Detroit, Minnesota. I'm gonna have Detroit win this game 27-16 here. They're desperate, bro. They have to win. Like the deal, we talked about the deals yesterday in the pick show, but I'll say it again just in case my thing does. So the deal is the Lions have to win, right? The Lions have to win. They need the Packers to lose out. So with this game being before the Packers game, because the Packers game's on Saturday, the Lions, they got to do whatever it takes here to win the game. No matter what it takes, they have to sacrifice whatever they got. They have to come out here. They come up strong. Yes, I do believe that this Detroit secondary is kind of weak. That's why I do have Minnesota, however, scoring 16 points, because I do think they'll score somewhat points on that injured and banged up Lions secondary. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna pick the Vikings to beat Detroit, especially in a must-win situation. I think the Lions offense gets going here. I think St. Brown gets going. I think Gibbs gets going. Gibbs was kind of silent the last 2 weeks. I think he gets going. So yeah, I just think the offense gets going for Detroit, and I know the playoffs chances are very small for Detroit, but I do think they do whatever it takes here to at least increase their chances of making the postseason. So I'm going to take Detroit in this one. I'm not really going to trust the Vikings offense. JJ McCarthy's ruled out for this week, so I don't really have any trust in Minnesota's offense to move the ball down the field enough. So, and I do believe Detroit will. Jared Goff should be able to move the ball down the field. It's not going to be all the time because Minnesota's defense is good, but I'm going to trust them more to move down the field than Minnesota. So I'm going to take Detroit in this one. I'm going to take them with the minus 7.5 points. Like I said, that line just don't scare me. I think the Lions win this game pretty significantly. I had them at 11, but I'm going to take Detroit with that. And I'm going to take the over 42.5. I do think, I actually feel good about that because I know the Lions offense are going to be moving the ball. They're going to be scoring whatever they can. And then the Vikings, Detroit's secondary, especially defense, is really banged up. Now I can see them scoring a rock. I can see them having some offensive firepower, some weapons, some scoring in there, even though they're not completely full healthy in that regard either. So I like the over in this one. 27-16 is what I got. Got Detroit winning this game on the road, and by far the best game of Christmas. It's embarrassing, but we gotta call it what it is. Detroit wins. And last but not least, here on the final Christmas Day slate, aka Thursday Night Football, we have the Denver Broncos going into the Kansas City Chiefs here, and I got the Broncos winning this game pretty huge. I'm going to take this game 34-13, and if I'm being completely honest, I think I might be generous by giving the Chiefs 13 points here. And I think everybody's going to know it. I think this is going to be my ass beating of the week. Like I said, there was a couple of contenders which could have been my ass beating of the week, but I decided to give it to this one. I think the Broncos are going to beat the shit out of them. The Broncos the Broncos lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, and there's a deal with the Broncos. The Broncos number one in the AFC. They lose this game, the Patriots win, and the Patriots are going to overclimb it in the debate for the number one seed. Also, not just that, you have the Chargers, who are not too far back behind you. And now they have a tough matchup against Houston, but they can easily win that game too. So this is a big game here for Denver. They should be able to get back on track here, win this game pretty easily, go to Kansas City without Patrick Mahomes, and I'm just disappointed how the Chiefs are. I mean, they just look depleted. They look like they don't want to be there anymore. This is the right spot for Denver to go into the Kansas City Chiefs house and whoop their ass. I think this is a big opportunity for them to do that, and I think they'll do just that. Like I said, this is Kansas City. If you looked last week in Tennessee, they did not look good. It looked like they just wanted the season to be over. They just put Rashee Rice on IR. They're already not going to have Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's not even motivated anymore. So I just think that this is a great spot for Denver, RJ Harry, Courtland Sutton, and the defense to really get going here. So I have Denver bouncing back in a big way here, 34-13. Like I said, this is my ass beating of the week. I'm going to take the over 36.5 because, like I said, I do think Denver has a chance to get that themselves. Honestly, I think Denver's going to score the rock over. I know Kansas City's defense is still strong. Well, not strong, but I think that they can be at least decent. I just think Denver's going to score all that points enough. And I'm going to take them 13.5. Like I know I kind of been staying away from the large spreads, but and when the one's pretty obvious, I think I just pretty much have to go for it. But Christmas Day here, all the slate, I mean, it was really good. I mean, going into the year, and then now all of a sudden it's pretty trash. But I like Denver a lot in this matchup. Now we got the Texans playing against the Los Angeles Chargers here. I'm going to take Houston to win it 21-20. I do think this is going to be a really close game, and I honestly this was a front runner for trickiest game of the week. It was a front runner, but I decided to get this game the 1 point game of the week award. I do think this one could go either way. It's in LA, so here who's else going for both teams? Because both teams have a really big deal in this game. Chargers have to win this game because the Chargers really need to keep up with Denver in the division. I do think they have a chance, but they're gonna have to almost win out, or they're gonna have to almost catch up and somehow get some help from other teams, get some help from Kansas City tonight. But I just don't see that happening. Plus, they do have another matchup, but that game will be in Denver instead of LA. So I think this is a big game for the Chargers here. I think they need to go out there and win it. But overall, I think I'm going to go with Houston and win. Like I said, and you can make a legitimate argument from both teams. Both teams' defenses are really good. Like what I've been seeing out of the Chargers defense, we already know we're going to get out of the Texans defense. Offensively, I don't think offensively, you can definitely say the Chargers are by far the better offensive team here because Justin Herbert, he's been slinging around the rock. Houston's offense has not really been that convincing so far this year. They have moments where they can be convincing this year, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they have been one of the more consistent offenses in the league. No, I'm not going to say that. I think that's a little bit too overboard, too crazy here. I'm going to take Houston with the points plus 1.5. Like I said, I'm not too shocking. I'm not too shocked that Houston's the underdog here. Like I said, the game is in LA. They're wearing those dark blue uniforms, so I can see the Chargers winning this game. Like I said, this is just a 50-50 game. Who pick who you want to here. It's going to be a close game no matter what. Would not be surprised if I would have got this pick wrong here. I'm going to lean towards Houston. I think that defense gets after Justin Herbert. I do think they do just enough to win the game. Like I said, a 50-50 pick who you want to here. Could go either way. I'm going to lean towards the over 39.5. I don't like that as the under. I think that's just too low point to me to take the under, but I like to take the over in that one. Just barely, but I like the over in this one. 21-20 is what I got. I'm going to lean towards Houston of that defense. I think they've worked like a big play. And another thing I forgot to mention here, Chargers offensive line is also banged up, so I think that advantage for me is also leaning towards Houston. But it should be, no matter what the outcome here, should be a pretty good damn game. No matter if it's offensive game, defensive game, should be a good game here, but I'm going to lean towards Houston. Ravens at Green Bay. I'm going to take Green Bay to win this game 24-21. And like I said, this one is actually one of the harder ones to predict right now at the moment because we don't know who's going to be playing at quarterback for either team. We don't know who's going to be playing yet. Jordan Love, last time I checked, he's practicing, but I don't know if he's going to be playing or not. He suffered a really bad injury with him last week. And also you have Lamar Jackson also out, or he hasn't practiced yet, but he's dealing with the back injury. So is he going to be playing? I think he will play because the Ravens are in this must-win situation, which is kind of crazy because if the Ravens do lose this game, and the Ravens are kind of teaming up with the Lions this week, if the Ravens do lose this game, if the Green Bay beats Baltimore, they're going to knock not just the Ravens out, they're going to knock the Ravens out, and they're going to knock the Lions out in the process of it. But if the Ravens beat the Packers, then them and Detroit stays alive, and Detroit actually has a chance to jump over the Packers in Week 18, which is going to be kind of crazy. But But in this game here, I don't like I said, I don't know who's gonna be starting at quarterback. This is just a gut pick. I just went with the home team here in this scenario. So that the home team was Green Bay. So I do just think they're gonna win it. But like I said, I need to see. I need to know who's playing. I need to know Jordan Love's playing. I need to know if Lamar Jackson plays, because that just kind of determines about what I'm going with here. I mean, I'm probably gonna take. I mean, regardless, I'm taking Green Bay. Green Bay is my lock pick. Like I'm picking Green Bay no matter what. But what I'm trying to decide on is what else am I going to go with? The over-under is specifically what I'm going to go for. If Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson, if they both play, I'm taking the over. If Lamar Jackson plays or Jordan Love, if one of them plays, I'll probably take the over as well. If both of them are out, I'm going to be taking the under in this game at 40.5. So that's just kind of like where I'm at in this game. But I'm going to lean towards Green Bay. I think they play enough. I think they do enough to win the game. Sure, they're kind of banged up too, but Josh Jacobs, it looks like he's going to be healthy. I think they do just enough to win this game. There's just a lot of scenarios going all around in my head. I know this game kind of means more to Baltimore, but in Green Bay, I think that's going to be a tough place to play in. I'm going to lean towards them to win the game. Plus, they have a chance to get the climb up in the standings, so and probably chase after Chicago. So Green Bay's got their own stuff to worry about. So I'm going to take them to win this game at home. But man, this is a tricky one to pick here. Like I said, just regarding the quarterback situation and status of everybody. But for now, I'm going to lean towards the home team here in Green Bay. Now we have the Cardinals playing against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I have an absolute shootout here in Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bengals to win this game 37-28. Like I said, I think this one's going to be a shootout. I think it's, and I was feeling it. Like back when I was doing the pick show, and I don't know if you guys heard me doing the pick show, because the pick show, I recently just looked at that video, and that's why, and it was laggy. But like I said, I do apologize in advance if that was the case. But I recently went back and looked at that video, so I have a chance. Once I first saw this matchup this week, I was like, yeah, this game's gonna be a shootout. I know last time I said that in a Cardinals game and I was wrong, but this time I think it's gonna be right. You have two defenses here that cannot really stop anything right now. You have two defenses. Bengals been one of the worst defenses in the league. They have been one of the worst defenses in all of football. Arizona defense wasn't that bad, but now it's starting to become one of the worst defenses. I know they're starting to get a little bit banged up on the defensive side of the ball, but they have still been one of the worst defenses in football. And when you look at it, like I said, I just think this is going to be a defensive game, because I think both teams are going to have a lot of success here offensively. Joe Burrow, Jacoby Brissett, I think them two are both going to be slinging the rock all over the place. I do not think that either one of these two defenses are going to have an answer for it. And then you have the running game, who I think is going to be effective, because both teams suck against defending the run. And then you have wide receiver and tight end. Like I just think these two teams' defenses are going to get exposed. But I am going to trust the Bengals to get out with the win, though. I can see Arizona covering this 7.5, though. I can see it, because I think this team is kind of like more like a Cincinnati type team, where they just score a whole bunch of points. And I just think that's what's the card. I don't think the Cardinals' offense is the offense, because we've seen. I do think ever since they got Kyler Murray out of the lineup where he's been injured, I think the offense has been way better under Jacoby Brissett. So in that case, it's like, okay, so you might go with Arizona to cover the points. I'm gonna say no, because I kind of expecting Cincinnati to win this game by more than 8. Like I think I can count on them winning like that. Plus the Cincinnati's actually been the Joe Burrow looks fun again. He looks like he's competing with some good teams. So I'm gonna lean towards Cincy with that as well. And then I'm for sure taking the over 52.5. Like I said, I'm feeling the shootout in this one. I can see a 60-point game. I can even see a 70-point game in this one. I think this one's gonna be one of the more better offensive games. So if you're an offensive person, watch this game. But I will probably bet the over in this one. But yeah, I'll take Cincinnati here at home. Next up, Seahawks at Panthers. I'm going to take Seattle in a nail biter here. 26-23 field goal game. I think Seattle's going to win the game. I'll take the safe side on that. But I think I explained this in my pick show. I think this one could go either way, and there's a huge deal between these two teams. Seattle, if they win this game, they control their own destiny for the number 1 seed. All they need to do is go into San Francisco next week and beat the Niners. If they do that, they will successfully then be the number 1 seed. seed. If them and the Niners do win this week, they will eliminate the Rams' chances of the number 1 seed. So I think this one could be a little bit interesting. As a Rams fan, of course, I hope Seattle loses this game. I need them to lose this game, but I can honestly see it because the Panthers are not no damn walk off. We talk about this team all the time. This team is good at home. Like they're really, really good, and I think they have a chance of winning this game. I was thinking about taking the Panthers. My first gut instinct was telling me Panthers to win this game, actually, because the Panthers, they're dominant at home. They do everything right at home. They play good football. They play their best football at home. They beat a whole shitload of good teams at home too. Like they beat the Rams, they beat the Bucks, they beaten some really good teams at home as of late. But I'm gonna take the safe side and take Seattle because at the end of the day, I do think Seattle's defense should be able to come away with just one more stop to close out what the Panthers are doing offensively. And I do think the Panthers are gonna start off strong in this game, but I just think that Seattle's defense is just gonna make that one stop that's just going to let Seattle get to have a chance, and maybe if it's the fourth quarter overtime, to go down the field and kick a game-winning field goal when it really matters. So and the Panthers, I think they need this win game too, because the Panthers can actually clinch the division this week. If they win and the Bucks lose, they can clinch the division. But I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to pick it to happen. I'm going to have them fall short by a couple points here. I'm gonna say 3 points, but I am comfortable about taking the Panthers with the points, though. I am comfortable about that. I will actually bet on that one. Actually, I'm gonna take them up plus 7.5. I feel amazing about that. Over 42.5. I like that too. I do think there's gonna be a lot. I do think it's gonna be a lot of scoring in this matchup. Very entertained, very excited to watch this game. But I'm gonna take I was thinking about taking the Panthers, but I'm gonna take the safe side with Seattle. I think JSN and the defense, Sam Darnold, I think do enough to win it, but Bryce Young's been balling out real quick, but you might have to watch out for that. But I will take the safe side with Seattle. Next up, Steelers at Browns. I think I'm going to take the Steelers and win this one 17-10. I'm not really expecting a lot of offense here because if we looked at it, if you guys haven't known, DK Metcalf did get a suspension for the rest of the regular season. I mean, that's only 2 games, but he got suspended for the rest of the regular season. So we'll see how that goes. So I do think he's a really big part of the Steelers offense. So I do think the Steelers are going to take a massive step down on that offense, but I am still expecting to win this game. I know I'm not saying that like you all should be too motivated about it, but at the end of the day here, I think the Steelers are the better team. They should be able to find a way to win the game. I do think their Steelers defense have been very in and out this year. Overall, I don't think they played that bad last week. I do think this is going to be one of their more performances where the defense balls out for them this week, and I do think they will do that. I think they'll force multiple turnovers on Shedeur Sanders in the Browns-led offense. I just can't really pick the Browns to win right now. I just can't pick it. I know they're home. It just feels like they're home every single week, but I just can't pick them to win football games right now. I just can't do it, even though this is a defensive game, and I think it will be. And I'll make a bold prediction right now. I think Myles Garrett's going to hit that sack record. I think he's going to hit it this week. If not, he'll have another chance next week, but he only needs 1 sack to clear it, so I think he will. But anyway, in this game here, I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. I think this is like a ground and pound type game for both teams here, so you can run the ball. Obviously, the Browns' injury to Junkins last week absolutely hurt their chances. In this one, that's just a hard running back to bounce back from. So I'll take the Steelers coming here, take care of business. Seeing if the Ravens lose, if I do have them losing, they'll clinch the division. So I have the Steelers doing that if the Ravens do lose to Green Bay, which I'm also isn't predicting. So I like the Steelers with the points there, and I like the under. I like the under. I know 34.5 seems like a very low number, but I think I'm going to go for it. Like I said, I'm not expecting a lot of offense here. I do not think. I think both defenses will play strong here, but I'm going to lean towards the Steelers. Like they're the better team right now at the moment. I think they do whatever it takes to win the game, but I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh. Next up, Saints at Titans. I think this one's actually going to be a pretty good game here. I think we're going to see some scoring here. I think we're going to see some offense. I think this one's going to be entertaining. I think both teams are really starting to find their identity at the end of the season, what they can really be in long term. The Saints are coming off a 3-game winning streak, and the Saints have actually been playing some pretty decent football as of late. I actually like what I'm seeing out of them. The Titans, I like what I'm seeing at Camp War. Sure, they don't have the best worker in the world, but like I said, I like how these two teams are coming out this season. They're showing some life of what they can be going into the future here. But I'm going to take the Saints here 23-20. I feel comfortable about their chances here. I do think they'll do enough to win the game. Saints defense is kind of like the main reason why I'm really picking them to win this game. Yeah, I could see Tennessee winning because they got the offensive weapons, they got the tools to go down the field, they have the tools to go down there and score. But when you look at these two offenses, I just think the Saints do enough here to win the game. It's not going to be easy because I do think the Saints have a chance of losing this game. The game is in Nashville, so which I do think that might give Tennessee an advantage, and their defense is not playing that bad either. But I like what I've seen from Shuck. I think he does enough to win the game. I think he has more playmakers. Alvin Kamara specifically. Chris Olave specifically. We'll see if Alvin Kamara comes back. I'm not really expecting it, but I think that's just another reason I'm going to go to ones. I trust their defense, and I think they have more better playmakers than Tennessee. So I do think they will find a way to come away here with the win. So I'm going to roll with New Orleans. Taking with the points there, -2.5. I think that's a good spread. For the game, -2.5. I'm going to take the Saints with that. Too low for me to pick Tennessee. I am going to take the over 39.5. Like I said, I do think we're going to see some offensive pop in this game. Very excited. So this game actually it don't mean anything, but it's actually, in my opinion, I think it's one of the more entertaining games I think we're going to watch out the entire week. But yeah, I am going to roll with Tennessee. I am going to roll with the New Orleans Saints to win this one in a squeaker. But like I said, fun game. Don't really mean anything. Should be a fun one though. But I'm going to lean towards New Orleans with that defense and more playmakers. Now we got the Jags at the Colts here, and this game was actually pretty. This game's actually now, because overall I just looked at this. I looked how the seasons went, and I actually did think that this was going to be like a serious game coming down the stretch of like who possibly could win the division, especially with Houston struggling at the time and Jacksonville just hanging around in there, just winning games when they need to win games, and the Colts looking absolutely dominant big in the year. But now I'm just kind of feeling like, okay, yeah, this division's over. I think this division's. The division was these two teams, but now I think it's the Jags and Texans that decided who's going to take the division here. But yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville to win this game 33-17. I don't really see this game being close. The Jags have actually been one of the hottest teams in football. They've been balling out. They're just coming off a really good win at Denver last week, which, like I said, I'm still impressed over that win. I was not expecting to win that game, but they did. And that was impressive for Jacksonville. Let's give them credit. They looked pretty damn good throughout the process of that game, and I do think they will beat Tennessee. I do think they will beat Indy here as well. But I do want to give respect to Philip Rivers and that offense. That offense can throw up points, and I think that's true. I think we seen it last week on Monday Night Football. They've thrown up some points and drive. They look pretty damn decent on offense. But on defense here, I think Trevor Lawrence has been playing his ass off so far this year. Love what I've been seeing from him. Love what I've been seeing from the offense. It's just team from Jacksonville. It's just hard to pick against them right now, especially how that offense is rolling. I think they do enough here to win the game. So I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville. They win this one 33-17. I'm going to take it with the points. I don't think the points scare me that much. 6.5. I know it's on the road. I know it's in Indy, but when you're playing, when you have a team as hot as Jacksonville is right now, who just kind of waxed to Denver last week, I just feel like I have to go with the points there. So I'll take Jacksonville with that. I'll take the over as well at 48.5. That could be a little risky, but I think that the Jags will score a lot of points. Indiana's defense looked pretty bad last week, and they just will throw up a number. And I believe I can count on Philip Rivers to at least keep this team at somewhat of a float here. I think they can keep them somewhat competitive. So I do think that it will hit the over. But man, Jacksonville's just been balling out. That team has been really good to watch. Really fun team to watch the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'll take Jacksonville here on the road to keep it rolling. Now we got Tampa Bay going into Miami, the Battle of Florida here. And like I said, there is a scenario in this game. There is a deal. What does deal mean for Miami? Absolutely nothing. They're eliminated. But what does it mean for Tampa Bay? Absolutely. This deal means every shit thing for Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay, obviously, they need to win this game, right? They need to win this game, and they need the Panthers to lose to the Seahawks. And I do think that is a realistic chance, and I actually have that happening. Here's the thing, though. If Carolina beats the Seahawks and Tampa Bay loses to Miami somehow, they're out of here, right? They're out. They're not gonna make the playoffs. At Week 18 ain't gonna mean shit. But at the same time, anything but that, and that Week 18 could basically just define the factor of who or decide or so who the hell's gonna win that NFC South division, who has been terrible all season long. And it's kind of sucks that Tampa Bay's in this situation because it feels like they had the division locked for like when it was with like 5-1, other teams were like 3-4. It just looked like they had that division wrapped up, but they don't. They've been ice cold, but I do think they will bounce back here. It's not gonna be the easiest game in the world. You're playing against the Dolphins team, but at the same time, the Dolphins, they looked terrible last week. They look terrible. That's just the reality of it. I mean, I'm sorry to say in Miami, but it is what it is. They just looked bad last week. They benched to it last week. I think they looked even worse out there. I just don't know what's going on with the Dolphins right now. Just don't know what's going on with them. I do think the Buccaneers come in here and they come on the road. In the Battle of Florida, I think they get the job done here. It's not going to be the easiest game in the world. I do think Miami's offense will have a better outing than what they had last week, because Tampa Bay's defense has been giving up a lot of points last week, especially in the secondary. So I can see the Dolphins maybe hanging around the game here, but at the end of the day, this is just me kind of expecting Tampa Bay to finally get on the horse here a little bit. I am expecting to win this game, but man, I'm not as comfortable about this pick as I was in the past. I will say that for sure, because like I said, the Buccaneers, they have not been playing at nowhere near as good as of late. But Buccaneers, on the road, knowing what they need to do. I think, but at the same, Miami's defense also looked pretty brutal last week. I think the Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield might have a good day. Mike Evans might have a huge day in this one. I just think the Dolphins go. Like I said every week, I think they're going to rely on Devon Achane to keep him in the game, and it can happen, but I'm just not expecting that to happen. So I'm going to go with the Bucs here. Should be able to bounce back. Like I said, not going to be the easiest game in the world. Not too comfortable at the over, and Tampa Bay with the points there, but I'll go for it. Tampa Bay bounces back. They need to bounce back. Now we got the Patriots at the Jets here, and I'm not going to dive into too much of anything here because I'm pretty sure you guys are expecting what we're all expecting here. I got the Patriots winning this game 31-10. The Jets have been absolutely horrible. The Jets have been playing like one of the worst teams in football. They've been playing like this all season long, and I think the Patriots are going to roll in here and kick their ass. I just don't think it's going to be anything different here. The Patriots have been one of the hottest teams in football. I mean, I know they lost one game just recently 2 weeks ago, but that was sort of like this team is like 11 out of 12 in the last 12 games. It's absolutely incredible what the Patriots are doing, and the Patriots actually have a thing to do here. The Patriots got to win the division, and I know Buffalo's right behind their ass, and I still don't know who wins the tiebreaker between those two, which could be scary for the Patriots, but yeah, like I said, the Patriots, they got to go out here and win this game. And I know they're dealing with some injuries. They deal with Henderson, not Henderson, but the other running back, whatever running back it was. They deal with him injury. So could that impact the Patriots? I'm going to say no. I think they have enough firepower to win this game. Excuse me there, I'm a little bit tired. Like I said, I'm recording this at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, I got to go with the Patriots 31-10. This is just a beatdown. I don't expect this game to be close. Take the Patriots with the points. I'm actually going to take the under 42.5. It is not because of the Patriots' fault. As the scoreboard shows, I think they'll do their part, but I'm not expecting the Jets to do their part to cover the numbers. So I'll take the under here. Anyway, the Patriots should win the game in the snap pounding. Next up, we got the Giants at the Raiders here. And listen, I'm not too comfortable about any decision here. About whatever I make, I'm not too comfortable with the points here. I'm not comfortable about picking the Giants. I'm not comfortable about picking the Raiders. I'm just not comfortable with. I just feel like whatever I choose here, it's not going to be comfortable. I know both teams are going to be playing to lose in this one. I got the Giants and the Raiders. The first, and there actually is a deal with this game, and the deal is who's going to get the number 1 overall draft pick. Because honestly, I think it comes down to whoever. I think it comes down to this game. I'll be completely honest, who gets the number 1 draft pick. I know both teams are going to be playing to lose. Both teams are not going to be motivated in this one. By the way, let's just go ahead and call it. This is the worst game of the week because I'm pretty sure everybody saw that coming. Once I saw this first on the schedule, I was like, okay, I might have to go. This might be the Raiders' chance. I might have to pick them for once. And I don't know if I think I picked the Raiders maybe twice all year, but this could have been my third one. I could have picked the Raiders to win this game because there is a scenario I can see Ashton Genty safety just completely just taking over this game for the Raiders and him just running his ass off, especially against this Giants rush defense, who's been absolutely brutal these last couple of weeks. But I think I'm gonna take the Giants though. I'm gonna take them 20-14. Not expecting a lot of scoring here. Not really expecting this game to be too interesting here. It's in Vegas. Raiders have actually been pretty struggling at home as of late. At the same time, I believe in Jackson Dart. I do think he'll do enough to win this game. And but at the same time, like, none of this is actually the reason why I picked the Giants to win this game. The reason why I picked the Giants to win this game is because of me thinking, like, who do I think needs to draft pick more? Because when you go into next year, you have the Giants actually have a pretty decent roster going into next year, because we know when they get Cam Scatterby back, you still have Jackson Dart, you still have Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be coming back next year, and all the key pieces that you have this year. So I do think the Giants, like, they keep the score. They're going to be a decent team next year. So that's why I'm thinking, like, the Raiders actually, and plus the Raiders are missing Brock Bowers. I think that's good. I think that was kind of like another difference maker for me there. Brock Bowers is going to be out for the Raiders. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. So if Brock Bowers was playing, I'd probably honestly go with the Raiders here, because I do think they would have enough offense to pull this one out. But Brock Bowers coming out, I do think this pick leans more to the Raiders, so I'm going to pick the Giants to win it as well. So those were the two kind of ways why I wasn't going to go. Plus, I'm not going to trust Geno Smith. Geno Smith turned over the ball more than anybody, so I'm not going to trust that. I'm going to trust the Giants. They win this game 20-14. I'll take them with the points. I -1. And I am going to take the under. I know some people were actually going to take the over in this game, and I can see it. Maybe both offenses show off a little bit, do what they're not used to doing, but yeah, I'm going to take the under. At least I'm not expecting a lot of scoring on this one. Not really too thrilled about this game in general, but I do think the Giants should be able to win it. Like I said, it would be kind of shocking if they... I mean, it wouldn't be shocking because it is the two worst teams of football going at it, but I'm going to trust the Giants here just a little bit more than Vegas right now. Now moving on to the heavyweight boxing match again, we had the Eagles taking on against the Buffalo Bills here. I'm going to lean towards the Bills. I'm going to take them to win this game 30-28. I think it's going to be an absolute boxing match. I think we're going to see both offenses go off here. I know Philadelphia's offense has been a little bit overwhelming. Sure, you could tell you can take a look at the last couple of 2 weeks and say that their offense has been fixed, but I'm not going to say that just yet. They played two bad teams when they had their offensive role. I want to see them play against a good team here. And I know the Bills are a good team. And like I said, I'm very thrilled to see the Bills wear their red uniforms. Like, I cannot wait to watch that. I think it's going to look good on them. The red helmets, I think it's going to look fantastic on them. But I'm going to go with the Bills here. And there's a couple of scenarios where I can see this one going either way. Number one, Jalen Hurts versus Josh Allen. If you guys remember the last game that these two teams had in Philadelphia, it was an absolute battle. Like, it was a boxing match. I think the Eagles won that one on the squeaker on like a game. I think Jalen Hurts running in for a touchdown in the game. This game here, I'm kind of expecting like the same outcome here, but I do think this is Josh Allen's turn. I do think he'll do that. And like I said, I don't know if I said this I said this in the big show, but I don't know if you guys said it. When these two teams, when Buffalo normally plays against like one of the more juggernauts, one of the best teams, that's when they play their best football, especially at home. If they were on the road, they could slack off a little bit, but at home, when they're playing against one of the better teams in all the football, and I think the Bills are going to treat the Eagles like that because they are the defending champions. I do think that the Bills are going to step up their A game, so I am going to go with the Bills in this one, 30-28. I just learning from my head, I just learned that you can't ever pick against Josh Allen at home, especially in big games. I've done it a couple times this year. I think I done it when the Cincy game, the KC game, and it just came back to bite me. So in Buffalo, that's just a hard place to play in. Like I said, the Bills got more. I think the Bills got more to play for since the Eagles already clinched their division. The Bills can still chase the Patriots, but they have to win. They have to get past this one, and I think they have to get past one more. And I do think Week 18 is a pretty easy game for them. So this game means more to the Bills. It's in the Mafia. They're wearing the red uniforms. And I can see Saquon Barkley running all over the Eagles. I've been running over the Bills, and I think that will happen. And at the same time, I can see James Cook running all over the Eagles, and I think that can happen too. Instead, going with the Bills because I cannot pick against Josh Allen at home, especially in a tough matchup where I do think they play their best football against other heavyweights. I just gotta go with the Bills at home. So we'll take them 30-28. Should be a hell of a game though. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put it. This is the best game of the week, no question. I was getting ready to give this award to another game. I actually was going to, but I'm not going to. Like I said, this game deserves to be the best game of the week, and I think it will be. I'm excited to watch both offenses play in this one. How they do against both defenses. We'll be paying more attention about that. Take the Bills -1.5, and I will definitely take the over at 43.5. As I'm expecting a lot of scoring on this one. Even if it's not this big of a scoring, I do think it will be enough to hit the over. But yeah, gonna go with the Bills here in the Mafia at home. That's kind of like the difference maker for me there. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo here. Should be a hell of a game though. Next up, Bears at the Niners here. I think this one's going to be a squeaker. I think this one's also going to be a good game. You take a look at both teams here. The Bears have actually been getting away with wins. Let's be honest. The Bears are good. Don't get me wrong. I think the Bears are a good team. But you can also say they've been getting away with a whole bunch of wins as of late. I think that's actually kind of fair. And like I said, I'm not going to say anything. The Bears actually relied on luck. If you look at last week, I know they beat the Packers, and that was kind of amazing to see, but they had a lot of luck go their way. They had an onside kick return. They were getting outworked for the majority of the game. So for that decision, those are the games that you won, but I'm going to say that you did not deserve to win. I don't think the Bears really deserved to win last week. When we look at the Niners, like I said before, they are one of the more disciplined, fundamental football teams I think I ever seen. Like I said, this team might not have like the greatest roster or like the greatest thing ever, man, but this team is just so consistent. This team just always knows what they need to do to win football games. No matter what that path is, they always know how to win, and that's just something I've been so impressed about the San Francisco 49ers. Well, obviously, will I be rooting against them for this game? Absolutely. I hope they do lose to the Bears. I am rooting for you. I hope you guys do win this game. I hope your luck comes back to this game. But something in my gut's telling me that Sunday Night Football, prime time in San Francisco, I just gotta go with the Niners. I think they pull this one out 31-27. I do think we're gonna see some offense. I do think this game will be close. I do think it'll be a nail biter, but I gotta go with. My gut's just telling me I gotta go with San Francisco to win the game, because I do think they will just out execute the Bears on another level. But man, I just think this one's going to be a hell of a game. I think Caleb's going to have a heyday. I think he's been looking pretty good as of late. I think we're going to see plenty of offense here. I think Brock Purdy, he looked pretty damn good last week. I do think he should be able to throw a number. So I'm excited for this game. I really am. And I'm glad this is a Sunday Night Football game. I'm glad, because the Bears have actually can do a couple things. The Bears are already leading the division. The Packers win, which I do have them winning. They can throw a lot of pressure on the Bears to win that division. So the Bears, I think this is a big game for them. For San Francisco, they control their own destiny. I hate to say as a Rams fan, but they can control their own destiny. You know, they win this game, they win out. They could possibly, if they get there, they could possibly win out, and they can possibly be at home even in the Super Bowl. So that's kind of crazy. So yeah, I hope Bears. I hope you win. Please win for me. I'll sacrifice a loss if you guys do win this game, but my gut's telling me San Francisco pulls it out, so I'm going to take them. It's going to be a close game. Like I said, 31-27, a good game here. San Francisco covers, and I'm going to take the over 52.5. I know that's a big line, and that's a big line, but like I said, I have faith in both offenses. Both offenses should be able to pop off. I'll take the Niners here on Sunday Night Football in a great game. By the way, this trickiest game of the week. Just want to go ahead and pop it out because this one was the hardest one for me to pick. Trickiest game of the week. Niners win. Let's move on to Monday Night Football. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move to Monday Night Football here. We have the Rams going against the Atlanta Falcons. Let me tell you, I'm falling asleep after this. After I do this video again, upload, I am falling asleep. So, like I said, if you guys, I don't do that. I don't normally record at 3:30 in the morning. But here in this game, I'm going to take the Rams. I think they find a way to win it. We're going to go 34-17. And I think the Rams, as a Rams fan, you guys know how I'm feeling. So I know we took that gut punch to Seattle last week, and kind of all of our losses in the game and gut. enough punches, right? A game of losses that, we outworked our opponent for all this time, and then we just lose at the end. I know it's annoying. It's keep annoying to lose for the same reason, but I think the Rams have kind of solved the problems. If you guys recently haven't heard, they fired their special teams coordinator, so we will see what happens there. We'll see if it gets better, and I do think it will, because that's something. If the Rams want to if my Rams want to get to the want to go, which I absolutely can't believe my guys can get there, we're gonna have to address that situation. We're gonna have to get way better at that situation. But here in this game, I'm going to take the Rams. I think we're gonna beat the shot. But the Rams are wearing those beautiful bone. Actually, I'm not gonna say beautiful because they don't look beautiful, but they're wearing those bone uniforms again. So like I said, I had to put them in white this week. And I think the Rams are going to beat the shit out of them. I think they're going to beat the shit out of Atlanta. I think they're going to win this game 34-17. Now, one thing I am worried about Atlanta is the Rams. The Rams defense is normally pretty good, but we actually have been allowing a lot of points as of late. So if there's a chance that Bijan Robinson or Kyle Pitts has actually been looking pretty damn good so far, to end the season. But if he gets going and a Bijan gets going, I would not be surprised here. But I think the Rams defense, and I just think the Rams know how to bounce back. They know how to bounce back. This team is probably the best in football right now. I'm not going to take that loss over Seattle and say this team's not the best in football. We saw who the better team, and we saw who the better team was in that matchup. It was the Rams. The Rams outworked them from point A to point C. Couldn't finish in a point D. Point D was the fourth quarter, so couldn't really outwork them for that portion of the game. But at the same time, it just felt like the Rams had that game in command until they let the special teams score a touchdown down the field. But like I said, I think they're going to show. I think the Rams are pissed off after last week, and I just think they're going to take all the physical and mental frustrations on last week on Monday Night Football, on ESPN public television, on Atlanta. So I think, and plus, Kirk Cousins has been blown out too, but this is a very tough matchup for him. I think the Rams could dice him up. Matt Stafford's probably the MVP right now. I do think he'll continue to dice it up, and I just think the Rams are going to murder the Falcons here. Plus, this will be a double win if the Rams win. Not only if they do win to have a chance at the 1 seed if San Francisco or Seattle loses. Excuse me, by the way, but also the Rams have also the Atlanta's draft pick for next year, so this will be a double win if the Rams can get it, and I believe they will. Take the Rams with the points, -7.5. That does not scare me. I think the Rams should be able to cover that, and I'm going to take the over. Wait, the over under is not 37.5. Let me check. Let me check real quick what the over under is, because it's for sure not 37.5. I'm pretty sure I had that one wrong. I don't think I put it up there. The over-under is 49.5. Okay. I was going to say that it's not 37. It's 49.5. That was great. Whatever it was, I was going to take the over with that anyway. So yeah, I do think the Rams cover. I think they covered business. I think they take care of business. As a Rams fan, I want to see a pissed off version of the Rams. I think we've seen it a couple times. I think we're going to see it again. And I'm going to take the over at 49.5. Feel pretty good about that. Rams should be able to put up a number. So I'm going to go with that. But like I said, guys, that's going to do it for Christmas picks, aka week 17. Like I said, I'm going to go hop out, get this thing edited so you guys can watch it on time. I'm hoping to have this out at least by 8 a.m. so you guys can have a couple hours to watch this for football. And without further ado, guys, it is almost 4 o'clock a.m. to this as I'm recording this, so I'm going to go ahead and fall asleep here, catch some Z's in, catch some slight Z's in. I don't have to wake up pretty early, but I'm going to catch some slight Z's in before football. And make sure you guys have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy football. I might be watching NBA, but enjoy football. We'll still be connected on the Discord, so still come up to join the Discord. You guys know what to do there. But I said, appreciate everybody's support. Merry Christmas once again, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is BabyNation.com. Peace out. Stay safe. Have a good Christmas, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.